The term handcrafted gets thrown around a lot these days. It's become a movement, a trend, that can obscure the passionate folks who actually make amazing things by hand. Their remarkable stories need to be told, and I'm going to find them. I'm Anthony Bourdain, and this is Raw Craft. John Truex was on his way to becoming a major player as an industrial designer. From designing home goods for Alessi to building custom Steinway pianos, his singular vision has already made its mark. But John wanted something else. So he and his partner, Liz Saru, decided to start Borough Furnace, where they craft cast iron skillets using recycled iron and reused vegetable oil to fuel the furnace. That's why I'm very excited to meet these guys.
So these are the two models that we have right now. The frying skillet is made so that the handle doesn't get hot on the stovetop.
Really? So I can just bare hand that right off the flame?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every time?
Every time.
This is old school. Really old school. You gotta take care of this. This is a lifelong commitment.
But it lasts your whole lifetime.
The guys I work with who had these things, though, tended to be very protective of them. Like they were, don't touch it, don't look at it. They generally keep them wrapped in towels somewhere, squirreled away.
Right.
And you never, ever, ever put it through the dishwashing machine.
Yeah.
How do you make this stuff?
The furnace. Powered by a fine spray of waste vegetable oil, this little fryolator grease-burning baby burns at a scorching 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. They use old car parts, specifically brake rotors.
You're gonna melt it down brake rotor and a few extra elements to bring it back.
To get the chemistry right.
Chemistry right. Melt it into a nice, very hot soup,
Yeah.
which you skim off. It's just like clarifying a stock. The bad stuff flows to the top, you skim it off,
Exactly.
you're left with a beautiful consommé. Whoa. Who gets to work with an actual crucible? How often do you get to use the word crucible in a sentence? I mean, you do all the
I
time.
can use it all the time.
That's pretty cool. Whoa. Hot magma.
The molds are left overnight to cool. Like all the best cooking, it's not a process that can be rushed.
So that's it.
Oof, rough.
Yeah, still very rough.
So how many of these can Borough Furnace pour in a day?
On a good day, we can make 8 or 9 of them.
9 of these a day. You're doing everything by hand. You're doing everything in a socially responsible way. Why?
The design changes make them less conducive to sort of mass production, but these are balanced differently.
Holding a traditional skillet with that stubby little handle is tough.
After the iron is cooled, the skillets are trimmed and the edges cleaned up and ground. The flat surfaces are then buffed with what looks like the unholy spawn of a dental drill and a floor sander. Afterwards, the pan gets a final sandblast with pressurized aluminum oxide.
I totally want one of these in my house. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but I want one.
You can feel how soft the surface is now.
Wow.
The newly scrubbed pan is almost ready for its final, crucial step, the seasoning.
You just rub it lightly with oil?
Yeah.
Flaxseed oil.
Yeah, and you can do this in your oven at home to add more layers to it.
Now, when you're talking about adding more layers to it, in traditional Chinese cooking, some of the old school guys say, as soon as it leaves the wok, the food is losing wok hei. It means the breath of the wok. That what you are tasting when you cook in it is not just this meal, but a residual, magical, intangible something that is the sum total of every meal previous. And that if you break that chain by washing it the wrong way, putting it into a dishwasher, you've lost that. In much the same way as people, old school people talk about the skillet, the family skillet. And when this thing's 60 years old, 70 years old, that's a lot of magic in there.
So I decided it was time to take this classic pan on a test run with an equally classic French preparation.
Let's try to make steak au poivre on, what the hell is that thing?
It's the skilletron.
The skilletron.
Yes.
It's a new adventure in cooking. I don't want to melt the pan.
Sure, so we toned it down a little bit. We should be at 600 to 700 degrees.
Yeah, because I can tell you, 3,000 for steak au poivre is too much. Looking good. No, if you try to make this in a New York City apartment without this kind of ventilation, you're gonna have a problem. All right, let's pop it in for a little, get the center right here. Now, ordinarily you use a good brandy, but I hear this, this stuff's pretty good. Most important thing with a steak, let it rest. A little beverage, nicely done. Feeling pretty good about that. Enjoy.
Delicious.
So yeah, but, you know, I'd use this as a perfect metaphor for everything we were talking about today, you know? Make it by hand, take your time, don't rush it, end up with a good product. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for coming by.